All right, friends, let's proceed with our heuristics and try to come up with the strategy to devise our recursive uh, approach to generate these power sets. So so if you observe, like we see here, we are deciding about the current offset at every level, right? So at level one, we were deciding about the offset 0. At level two, let me write level 2 here. So at level 2, we were deciding about offset uh, 1, which is, and then at level 3, we were deciding about whether to pair the last offset with the rest of whatever we have selected so far, right? This is all we are doing here. So we begin with ABC, and we say that okay, I'm going to select A, and I'm going to not select A in my this branch, right? So this is this is with A, and this is uh, without A, right? And this is the same thing happening here, right? So now I already made a selection here, which is A, and there is no selection made yet. And then I'm going to decide about B in my next level here. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to pair B with this guy, right? It's the same thing. So this is with B, right? So with B, and this is without B, right? So so I've already selected one. So whether or not I want to pair B with this is what I'm deciding. So I'm going to pair it with B, and I'm going to not pair this with B. But then I have still one more decision to make. What about C? So same thing. So I decide to pair this with C, and I decide this not to pair with C, right? So without C. So the same intuition here. So basically, it's a uh, two-way branching. So so basically, what we are doing is we are saying, okay, it's the same thing. So we are trying to develop a partial, right? So partial is empty to begin with. So I'm saying, okay, partial. So I'm going to pair you with the current offset. So I'm going to pair you with the current offset, right? So S of offset. So I'm going to say I'm going to pair you with this offset, and I'm going to call you uh, uh, in my this is basically the left branch, right? So the left branch is going to pick the offset. So the left branch job is to pick the offset, right? And the right branch is going to say, I'm not going to pick you, right? But I'm going to still proceed. I'm going to still proceed to the next offset without sorry, no partial plus. So uh, I'm going to still proceed to the next uh, index without selecting you, right? So I'm just going to say offset uh, plus 1, and this is going to say offset plus 1, right? Offset plus 1. And the rest of the things are same. So these are the important thing that we decide. So we get S, which is our input size, and we need to pass in a result to uh, collect our results into, right? And what would be our base case? So our base case is when we have made our decisions about all the choices that we had. So we had 3 choices to pick from. So basically, if the offset has reached, if my current offset is reached the size of my input is dot size, then I'm done, right? So I don't have anything to choose from, any more to choose from. So so store partial and return, right? And return. So let's see that quickly, how that looks in the code. All right, so let me bring up the code here. So we have given ourselves the same string ABC, and uh, we are going to store our result in the vector result, and we are going to call power set with S, right? So let's go ahead and see how it looks. So basically, we are returning a vector of string, okay, and we are going to call power set, right? And then this accepts string as a as an input, and uh, and then we are going to pass in the usual empty partial. So we're going to pass in the partial, which we are going to build as we go, and we're going to give it a vector of string to store our results, right? So let's call our helper function. So power set helper. So let's call that power set helper. Pass in the original string, pass in the partial, and then the current offset is 0, and the result, right? So and then we want to return our result back, right? So what does our recursive function do? So the recursive function would basically just go through this and select and not select, either select or not select out of the current offset. So power set helper is going to accept a string reference, that is the input, and then we are passing it a string partial. And always remember, this partial is being constructed on the fly for every iteration, so it has to be on the stack, right? And as the stack unrolls, we want to go back and give it another the next choice, right? So we have partial, and then we have the offset that we are working on, and then we want to pass it a vector of result, which is also passed in by reference, so that we can store our results here. That would be returned to the original caller, which is main. So now we know that when our offset reaches the input size, so s dot size, then we are done, because we don't have any more choices to make from. So we want to go ahead and store that. So that would be result dot push push back of partial, and then I return, and then we want to return. And otherwise, I just have two branches, right? So power set helper, and what are my two branches? Uh, Basically, I'm going to call this with s, and then in the partial, I want to add what is there at the current offset, right? Partial plus s of offset. So that would take in the current offset, and then it will say, okay, now go get the next offset. And then we want to pass in the result, right? So this is the left branch. So this is the left branch. And then the right branch is going to say, I'm going to ignore the current one, right? So helper, and then I'm going to say that just call partial and proceed to the next one. We want to skip this. So offset plus 1 and then result, right? So that is my right branch, okay? And that should probably just do the whole parsing and returning. So let me go ahead and save this, and let's go ahead and run this program. So I want to run my make file. Offset was not declared in this scope on line 9. Uh, on 9. Oh, a spelling mistake. So offset. Okay. Save that, and let's go ahead and compile. Okay, there's a warning, signed and unsigned comparison. I'm going to ignore that for now. So now I'm going to run that. So let me go ahead and run my target .exe, and as we can see, we got ABC as our first choice, and then we got AB, and then we got AC, and then we got A, and then we got BC, and then we got B, and then C, and the empty set is not printed basically. So maybe we can change that and just print a C out of empty set, or whatever we want to. But you get the intuition, right? Basically, it's just taking two branches and deciding on which one to pick. So Let me know your comments or if you want to clarify further. Thanks.